What is up, everybody? It is week 20 of 2016, and the news of the week is that it is currently 40 months until 40. Yeah, that's right, because I called the first video of this year round 37 because this is the 37th year I've been on the planet. I haven't actually turned 37 just yet. I got like 4 more months, so that means it's 3 years and 4 months till I turn 40. And so, like I said, 40 months till 40. Now that's significant because I've decided that my goal between now and then is simply to add as much quality body weight as I possibly can, on the idea that it's easier to get it on than it is... Wait a minute, I said that wrong. It's easier to maintain it than it is to put it on. And as we all know, as us dudes age, that old testosterone just goes in the dumper. So, and that's really what helps us gain so much muscle mass and keep the body fat off, as opposed to the ladies. This is actually going to be pretty interesting for me because I have generally held my body weight down, either for, staying in a weight class like when I was in college, or wanting to be able to run a decent 5K at the drop of a hat. I figure it's better to be light than it is to be heavy if you want to put in a good 5K time. But nowadays I've changed my tune, and I'm going to let that body weight rise. And so this week I did a little bit of arithmetic, and I looked at my count for my total calories consumed this year so far, and looked at the change in my body weight. And I calculated basically the ends of the range where my maintenance calories should lie. Because what I said was, okay, my body weight is up about 6 pounds. And assuming that's all body fat, that is going to give you the lowest maintenance calories, because putting on body fat is actually a very efficient process. And thus, when I did the calculation on that, I came out with 2660. And then on the other end of the range, if all that body weight was muscle mass, that's actually an inefficient process, and that gave me a total of 2795 calories per day. The great thing about that method is that it's not using some formula which does not take into account individual differences. Because for example, one of the main formulas I've used in the past is either multiply your body weight in pounds by 15 or your body weight in kilograms by 30 to get your maintenance calories. And for me, if you do that, right now I'm 60 kgs. And so if you multiply that by 30, you come out with 1,800 calories per day, which is basically 1,000 calorie deficit for me, according to my actual calculations. And if you do it the other way, I think you get 1950-ish if you do pounds by 15. Either way, that's ridiculously low for me. And so I highly recommend using the negative feedback mechanism, where you track both the input and track an output such as body weight on the scale, and work out the math. So at some point over the past week, I was bantering with a friend of mine about getting up to about 180 pounds, of decently lean body weight. And he was saying, man, I'd like to see that day. And something that daunting, whenever I'm in a situation where you have something like a really big project, I'm a huge fan of just divide and conquer. I once ran a marathon, for those of you who don't know. And if you think about the entire thing, it's just, overwhelming, because it's just so far, right? And before that, the farthest I had ever run was actually a half marathon. But when I was in the race, all I would say was, all right, let's get to that next corner up there, let's get to that next street where we make this turn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And by breaking it down into smaller bites, you can, as they say, you can eat the elephant if you do it in small, steady bites. And so it occurred to me that, since I have 40 months until 40, if I was to gain 1 pound a month, that would put on 40 pounds of weight by 40, and I would be at 170. So I think that's actually going to be my target going forward. But on that note, when I looked at the other parts of my data log, I noticed that I've been gaining weight a little bit too quickly recently. So I'm actually going to be pulling calories down just a touch so that we can get more on that 1 pound per month pace. Because as you guys saw, like some of those cycles previously, I was gaining like 2 pounds, and that was only like 5 weeks ish. And we're moving on to Wednesday, and I'm going to talk about the squat volume in just a moment here. But first, as always, it's hump day! And speaking of eating elephants, these guys would do it one bite at a time. Anyway, today for my squat volume, I ended up doing walking lunges. I ended up doing a grand total of 100 of them, and I counted each one as half a body weight of weight for my volume calculation. I basically just set up and I would do 5 lunges in one direction, turn around, and then come back and do 5 more. And that worked out pretty well. And as you might expect, the burn was insane. And I might keep that as my Wednesday leg volume and just try to up the number of lunges. Yeah, so getting back to the weight gain topic, the key word in the weight gain is quality weight. So, we're looking for muscle/lean mass, and the thing to keep in mind is that muscle does not go on in a quick manner, especially if you are not on them steroids. So I'm thinking that 1 pound per month is actually a reasonable rate of gain, and that should hopefully keep the body fat gain to a minimum, because let's face it, I could get 50 pounds on the scale if I really wanted to, and I could do it fairly quickly. I mean, KFC works wonders in that regard, but that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for quality weight so that when I'm old, I can just try and maintain the muscle mass instead of having to build new mass. Something that became clear to me this week regarding my lifting is that the weights that I've been using for my behind the neck jerk maximum, I think is a bit too optimistic, because couple times this week, and I'm going to show you here in a second, I almost killed myself by dropping the bar on my head. And I think the smart thing to do is to lower the weights down and make sure that I'm executing the movement correctly, as opposed to just trying to go for more and more weight. So what you're going to see here in a moment is the final warm-up that I did, which is at 135 on the behind the neck jerk. And I want you to notice just how smooth this one moves. And then for the final clip of the week, you're going to see the behind the neck jerk max at 152.5. And notice how opposite of smooth this is. So we're going to sign off with mother, mother. Don't kill yourself. That's bad. Because let me tell you, dead people make no gains. And we got the volume update for week number 20. We actually have a comparison now against last week, week 19. You can see we're up a little bit on just about everything due to mostly the heavier weights on the maxes, and our yearly volume is just piling up as usual. Mother. And the 2016 goals update, I'm going to keep the question mark by no injuries, but actually there's some improvement, because even though I did have some back issues still going on this week, it was finally starting to pop near the end of the week. And that's always the issue for me, like when I have the pain but I can't get it to pop, that's when I have like all kinds of trouble. The usual warm-up stretching, counting the calories, abs, one-arm push-ups, and the 10K chin-ups. Speaking of eating the elephant one bite at a time, we are now at 43.58. And lastly, the metabolic update. Target for this week was 2960 calories per day, which I actually hit right on the nose. And as you can see, the weight was up 0.59 pounds. And that was exactly what I was talking about earlier, where the weight's going up just a little too quick. So we're actually going to pull out 45 calories via 5 grams of fat per day. And even though I'm showing the protein higher, that's just because I'm shifting what I'm eating for convenience, not really for any other reason. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. So you guys take care and have a great week.